I was a heroin addict. I had no money. I had no friends. I had no sense of identity. I had no health. I had nothing. Alright, what's up everyone? Greg here, Project Unbroken. So I got a question recently, and they said, what do you struggle with now? Like, it seems like you and Matt got it all together. You don't struggle with anything. What do you struggle with? I thought it was a really good question. I like that. Now, if you don't know, obviously I was an ex-heroin addict. My main drugs ended up being opiates, led me to heroin. I was on heroin for a few years, got on methadone for a few years, and now I'm clean. I've been clean off methadone for almost 6 years now, coming on 6 years this summer, summer 2019. So I think that's a great question. What do you struggle with? Because, we do all these videos, and, we now own businesses. We have great health. We have families. People are like, did you just not struggle with anything? Yeah, of course I struggle with things still, there's always going to be some type of struggle, and I'll get there. I'll get to what I struggle with. But I also want to tie into this video just the ladder, that I kind of climbed to have my struggle be less and less, or, smaller and smaller things. So when I first got off heroin, the big struggle was like just figuring out what to do. Like, I didn't even know if methadone was going to work. Like, the whole plan was actually just to stay on it forever. That was my first struggle, was just get off the heroin. And that was, the step one for me, just get off the heroin. So then on the methadone, I kept going back to the heroin here and there, tried here and there. So the next step was to completely stop the heroin and just be on the methadone. That was, the next step. After being on methadone for a while, I got sick of it, and I wanted to get off, even though everyone told me I would never get off. So the next step was to get off the methadone. And from there, when I found out my son was on the way, it kind of kicked me into gear. So I'm like, all right, I need to get things together. So I kind of looked at my life, and I was like, where does my biggest struggle come from? And that's one of the questions you got to ask yourself. So I asked myself that question, and at the time, the biggest struggle was money. I was already struggling with money, and now I have a child on the way. I need to get that together. And one of the reasons for that is because I knew that the lack of money caused a lot of problems. It wasn't necessarily that I wanted to make a lot of money and buy nice shit. It was more that I wanted to make money to eliminate the struggles that not having money causes. So from there, I started rebuilding an online business that I had built many years ago. I was very successful in internet marketing back in 2006, made a bunch of money, but I got into drugs, ran through it, and basically went broke and had to go back to a normal job. So I started looking back into internet marketing, and I started building my income up. I worked really hard to build my income up. And what that did for me is it eliminated a lot of problems. It eliminated a lot of stress I had in my life. I didn't have to worry as much about bills. I didn't have to worry can I afford this, or can I afford the next bill that's coming? I know that, when my son, when he's born, he's going to be okay now. I don't have to worry about if I can afford things for him. So just taking that step eliminated a lot of stress for me, which was money, and I didn't have to worry as much anymore, which made my life easier. So that was step number one, from, once I found out my son was on the way, all right? From there, it was like, all right, I still struggle with my health. I don't feel good about myself. I'm not confident. I still don't really know who I am. So from there, I had to, I looked at that problem, and I said, how do I start figuring this out? Well, I got to start getting my ass in gear. I got to start working out. Okay, I just got to do it. So that, luckily, I met back up with Matt around that time. We had reunited because we lost touch for well over 5 years, and we each went our own ways to, find recovery. And luckily, Matt opened a gym. He invited me in. I started getting my health together, right? So for a long time, I struggled with my health and just getting in there and getting healthy and getting myself back in shape. So I worked on that for a while, right? So once that was done, it was more like, okay, I gotta start building. Like I didn't really have any like I had people at the gym that I knew, and but no close friends besides Matt, really. So I started kind of building up relationships, and I eventually end up meeting my wife now and building a family. So the point is, the struggle's always there, right? Like it's just going to be something a little different, maybe it's something a little easier. And as you take care of each struggle in your life, you're going to chip away, okay? And you're going to make things easier in your life. Like I don't have much struggle now, and I'm going to explain what the struggle is now. There's a reason why you saw the kids with me at the bus stop. What's up? What's that? Ain't a good face. So my biggest struggle now is that I need to find balance, right? Like I got the money thing taken care of. I'm good there. Got my health taken care of. I got a great family. Love my family. My biggest problem now is balancing things. So what I mean by that is I carried my addictive personality with me into my recovery, right? I still have an addictive personality. Like I get obsessed about building my business or building my health. I mean, I spend 2 hours a day in the gym, which is ridiculous. Some days if I can't go to the gym when I want to, I might be a little grumpy, and I got to check myself on that. Like I can't do that. I can't be that into it. Or if I have a work project and I can't do it because the kids are home, I find myself, drifting in thought. Like last night, for example, I was in bed with my son. We were reading a book, and it was like a 20-minute book he was reading. It was like a 200-page Pete the Cat book, but very small pages. So it took like 20 minutes to read, and I found myself 5 minutes into it kind of drifting in thought. And I was thinking about like business ideas, and I had to keep stopping myself. Like, what are you doing? Like, appreciate the time that you have right now with your, like right now's time with your son. Like, he's reading to you. Pay attention, like, because he just turned 7. He's growing like a weed. I'm not gonna have that time for long. So the biggest problem I find now is just the balance, or even just like with my wife. Like sometimes we get our free weekends, and I'm like, oh, I got to work this weekend. So I need to really work on finding balance and not neglecting time with my wife or time with my kids, because I get obsessive about, trying to get work done, or, trying to get in the gym for the whole 2 hours or whatever the case is. So that's my biggest struggle right now. And I know a lot of you, if you're still doing drugs, obviously you are far away from that, but that's okay, because I started there as well. I was a heroin addict. I had no money. I had no friends. I had no sense of identity. I had no health. I had nothing, right? But I had to slowly chip away at things that are going to make me happier. I slowly chipped away at the money first, and then the health, and then the relationships, and now I'm slowly chipping away at keeping myself in check for different things that kind of steer me away from what I should be focused on at the time. Like, yeah, the money's, or the financial situation is great because it eliminates a lot of stress, and the health is good because it keeps your mind right, keeps you confident. But if you do it too much and you neglect your family, that's really the most important part, right? So again, I definitely find myself keeping myself in check, like having to keep myself in check there. Or I'm like, what are you doing? Or I'll be on my phone, scrolling through, answering emails when I should be, my son's next to me on the couch. I'm like, dude, like put down the phone, like talk to myself. Like just, appreciate this time you have with him. So that's my biggest struggle right now. When I start taking care of that a little more, I'm sure there'll be something else. There's always something. Maybe it won't be as big. I'm starting to chip my way up the ladder, hopefully. And that's what I recommend for you too, is just chip away at the ladder. Identify the most important or the biggest stressor in your life and figure out how to take care of it. For a lot of people, it's going to be money or health. That's going to be number one. And for those of you who it's money, I'm going to do a new video soon where anyone can make money nowadays with the internet. You know, doesn't matter if you have felonies, doesn't matter if you have no college degree, you can make money with the internet. The internet doesn't discriminate. The internet doesn't know you have a felony, you know. So I'll do a video on that soon. But I wanted to shoot this quick video because someone had asked me the question. Hopefully it helps you know, identify what your stresses are in life or what you struggle with and how to attack it. You know, attack it one step at a time. Chip away at it little by little. And over the years, you know, I'm now about 8 years out of heroin addiction and about 5.5, 6 out of methadone. You know, I've had to climb the ladder. I've had to do a lot of work to get to where I am today to make those struggles be less and less over time. You know, it took work. So don't look at, oh my God, I have so far to go, like he's so far ahead of me, or, you know, I can't do that. Look at it as one step at a time. You got to figure out what your biggest struggle is, figure out how you can chip away at that struggle and start doing it. All right, so hopefully this helps. If you have any more questions, make sure you write in. Project Unbroken. Greg here. I'll see you all soon.